All right, so the first person is Acrylics. They are a slime VTuber. Isn't that fun? So my personal headcanon for all the slime VTubers is that they are evolved monsters that have all been, selected to try to survive against other major monsters, and how doing so, they actually wanted to team up with the humans to help keep balance of nature. So that's why each one of them can wield a weapon, based off how dense their actual slimes can actually get. You'll see what I mean in a moment. But for now, let's focus on Acrylis. Acrylis, she she's not fully formed compared to some of the others, so her color and textures tend to be that of a much more slimed out character. She's so slimed, in fact, that you can actually see her physical form can't maintain very well as some others that you'll see later. So, with that in mind, I had to figure out what kind of weapon class would fit her. Given the fact that she's not very dense, I decided to eliminate all heavy-based weapons. So, great sword, hammer, hunting horn, heavy bowgun, and that those were the major ones in terms of like the heavier class weapons. All those immediately taken out. I was thinking originally maybe a light bowgun, but hear me out. So slimes and guns just for some reason just don't feel right. So I kind of opted out of that. Yeah, oh, trust me. For in depth, every single one of these characters, every single one of these, I have made a fucking headcanon for. If I can answer any fucking headcanon based questions about these characters, I spent too long thinking about this. The only exceptions to this rule are literally anyone that adds their PNGs in the next few moments, but then I will literally improvise a character for every single one of y'all. So my next thought was, I don't want to give them dual blades simply because I feel like if they went too fast, it would fall right off. Like their arms or their limbs would fall off going too fast. So for our first weapon of choice, right? I decided to give them the ba ba da ba charge blade. So my reasoning behind the charge blade and not the switch axe is because much like the lance or gun lance, them holding a sword and shield type weapon just wouldn't do well. But I feel like with the charge blade having a nice little explosive nature to it, you could make it feel like the slime would also explode, and then it would I don't know, it just created like this cute like little energy inside. So I personally think that for Acrylis, the charge blade is definitely the way to go. Next up, we got what's your name? Angelsaver. There we go. She was actually she's pretty cute. I like the whole not trans, the whole pride flags and everything. Plus their character is adorable. Again, given their stature, and you're gonna hear this one a lot. Like their stature, it's like based off their physical appearances is how I rated their weapons for the most part. They don't look like they can do too much, but she definitely reminds me, not of someone that can wield like heavy blades, heavy weapons. So again, cut off heavy weapons. But she definitely looks like someone that has a knack for seeing and hearing things. So I'm thinking, so my thought process immediately went straight to long range weapons, but we can cross out heavy bowguns. So it was either bow or light bowgun. And I think because they are a cat, they and given the fact that I have quite a few cats of my own, they have a very explosive nature. And which one of these two is better at exploding? That's correct, the light bow gun. So Angelsaver, you are a light bow gun user. Next up is the only one in our chat that has to be an adult today. Apparently, you know her, you know them. It's Inakamaru, and guess what? They are also a slime. But as you can see, unlike our previous slime, this slime has a much more denser structure, similar to that of a human. But I imagine because they are still slime, they don't necessarily have bones, but they definitely have more condensed cartilage, I would like to say. So they are definitely able to wield heavier objects, but still maybe not something as heavy as a great sword or a hammer. However, they could definitely wield something like a lance, a gun lance, something like that of those natures. And I was like, some slimes definitely look like they can tank a little bit more than others, given the denser structure. So for Anakamaru, I originally was going to give Anakamaru Lance, but much like the Charge Blade idea, I was like, no, it has to be Gun Lance because slimes exploding for some fucking reason, it fills me with such like a mood. So there's no way that they can be a lance, but a gun lance user is definitely something I'm seeing from this one. And our next contender is actually a very fun one. So this is actually a friend of mine. This is Asmodius, a good friend of mine, a real good person. And their character, on the other hand, is like a really dark demon-like thing. Um, Honestly, I'm very surprised that they even let me do this. Just looking at this character, you can definitely tell that they are a very flashy character, but they are not a very strong character. I mean, I'm sure they are strong given the fact that they have the demon horns and everything. Usually indicates some kind of power. That being said, Asmodius would be in one category. Can y'all guess which one it is? Before I say it, it's the only weapon class that is not only powerful but flashy at the same time. That also makes longsword users look lame. You said dual blades. Dual blades are not flashy like that. It is not dual blades, but it is something much more fun that no one ever thinks of. Nope, not Insect Glaive. It's the hunting horn. Not only does it offer a sense of power, but it's also a very good supportive item. On top of that, it has a lot of flashy notes to it. The reason why I would give Asmodius a hunting horn is simply because I feel like his character resembles that of what a flashier character would be. And he definitely has the aesthetics for someone that could wield one of the better ones. And with that being said, we now have our fourth person is Azira Ogoro, a demon. How this demon would work is a little bit different than how other demons would work, or how other story told demons are. Because Monster Hunter doesn't play by that rule. They don't care what realm you come from or anything, because you are strictly Monster Hunter based related. They don't. How do you describe it? Yeah, they don't really delve in fantasy like that. They delve in fantasy of like evolutionary fantasy. How I want the demons to come out in this world, it's probably the same way as Fatalis accidentally summoning multi-dimensional beings from other worlds. It's probably a Fatalis thing, honestly. But when you are the strongest fucking dragon known to man that actually causes mass level extinctions, uh, you'll definitely see weird shit happening because of him. So the demons spawn simply around because of the mass extinction that happened back in Monster Hunter World. And these are the spawns that came after, as well as humans. That is my headcanon for demons, by the way. Uh you can feel free to argue it. I don't mind. I might have a little discussion about having demons in Monster Hunter, but for now this is the best I got. I mean, the best solution to it could easily have been like after the Fatalis' mass extinction, it could have easily have, disturbed nature and its imbalances, because that's exactly what Fatalis does, since all black dragons cause mass level extinctions as well as, imbalances in nature. Demons are also summoned from that imbalance. It's very easy to actually, bring one out lore wise. Monster Hunter just doesn't do it because they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about demons. But yeah, so that's my headcanon for how demons are born on this world. I should have said it for Asmodius, but it feels more natural to say it on ones that actually, fit more colorful and more vibrant demon shapes. So based off this demons, not only their physique, but also just how they would present themselves, um, I had several thoughts. Demons, being naturally stronger, could easily wield heavier weapons. Headcanon, by the way, demons are stronger than humans. Then again, Wyverians are technically stronger than humans. So it just really comes down to like how you wanna boast about it. um, so I was thinking, what kind of weapon would I give them? Would I give them like the great sword, a hammer? But then I was like, even if they are strong, it doesn't necessarily mean that they would use that weapon. So I started to think about her a little bit more again. And I was like, what's a good weapon for her? Everything's stronger than humans at this. Yeah, it really just comes to that. Humans are weak, but good-natured. So I was thinking, this character, she looks very much like a starting hunter, an aspiring hunter at that. So I was thinking maybe giving her the aspiring weapons to go with her. For our little Azira here, we are going to give her the sword and shield. He's an aspiring hunter after all. All right, so next up is none other than our beautiful Bastion. Ah, she's such a sweetheart. I love her. So as you can see, I know that Bastion is a succubus, and I know that they are, I guess succubus are technically not the same as demons. They're a little bit like different classes. Um, but the summoning for them is pretty much the same. So I couldn't figure out a different one. But yeah, so Bastion, also being a demon, succubus, sorry, being a succubus as I know she is, I got a little biased with this one because I think that succubuses are kind of on the flashier natures as well, but they're not flashy in the sense of like longsword or even the hunting horn. They are flashy in the sense of they want to show off a large amount of skill and show that they can get their target relatively easily. So, where does that leave us? That leaves us with getting rid of the longsword, hammer, hunting horn, greatsword, the lances, and everything else down here is open to game. And I thought of the cheesiest one. So we are getting rid of insect, dual blade, sword, shield, axe, charge blade, and we're only going with the guns. The main reason is because I think a succubus could get their target no matter what. And melees is obviously you're going to hit your target for the most part. But with a bow, it takes some skill. Well, for any of the bows, it would take some skills. So the one I would put her in is the normal bow, actually, because not only does it require a large amount of skill, but it's also very flashy at times. It's actually the flashiest of the three. So that's where Bastion gets to sit as a bow user. Oh, also, I had a really cute idea because succubus is, allure targets and stuff, and I was thinking Cupid, and I was like, well, Cupid also uses a bow and arrow, so I could consider succubus as similar to that of Cupid, where they target, fire, and get their marks on. But yeah, that was my cheesy one. So this next one, oh my god, I struggled with this one a little bit, and it's only because it is cosmic. Everyone that knows me knows that I am obsessed with my Cosmic because Cosmic she's such a beautiful entity. Can you blame me? I simp for stuff. I enjoy things about this character that but yeah, so getting her here was very difficult to think about. But I figured out the easiest solution. And yes, it's Fatalis related. So, thank you, Monster Hunter movie, for giving us the easiest cop out on how we can bring this majestical beauty onto our plane of reality. So, what happens is White Fatalis had probably opened up more than just a singular portal because he is so strong that he is a multi-dimensional rift. Fatalis, White Fatalis specifically, might have accidentally opened up a portal really close to where Cosmic was feeding, and it might have accidentally sucked them into that portal, into our plane of existence. Now being forced into this world, they are probably at a much weaker state because now they are in a dimension not their own. And getting sucked through a portal really fucking hurts, probably. So, that being said, she's still very strong. She is still very powerful. And she herself could probably take Fatalis regardless. So I had to figure out what would be a fun. Hey, Atriude. I had to figure out what would be a fun weapon for them to use, and it had to be a weapon that made sense. So, given that they are very powerful, we can automatically take every defensive weapon off right now. So every defensive weapon right out the fucking window. So anything with a shield, so sword and shield, gone. Heavy bowgun, gone. Gun lance, gone. All of that was already gone. So defensive capabilities, you don't need that when you are an all-powerful being. I was originally going to give Cosmic the Greatsword because it just made sense. With that being said, I actually give Cosmic the Hammer. A very skilled hammer user can do a lot of fucking damage. And I guarantee you, Cosmic would not be very happy. So, they are probably going to use planet-sized hammers. Or if they are people-sized, they are going to use very large people-sized hammers. Hell, she might even just throw people at it. A black hole hammer, hell yeah, you know. This next one, Dacid. Dacid? Yeah, Dacid Grade. Yeah. So, this character is very interesting. Dacid over here is a very interesting character in that they are, in fact, a slime. With that being said, we had to categorize this character. The only thing that I had asked them, and it was because their head was really big, was how tall was this character? To which they replied, small. Not the most useful answer I've gotten in the world, but that implies a lot of different things. So I imagine they are probably dwarf-sized or halfling-sized. Yeah, I told you there's a decent amount of slimes on in this video. And where I would see them, and given that they are dwarf-sized and can wear armor, which you don't see a lot of slimes wearing armor, which implies that this particular slime can hold their own. They can hold a decent amount of weight and it not bother them. In fact, they are wielding this armor with such ease that it does not reflect on their movements at all. I thought of a very, very fun one for this character, and I'll give you one guess. You're only allowed one guess, so the first guess I see is going to be either right or wrong, and if you guys are right, then I can tell you why you're right. But if you're wrong, I'll do it and I'll still tell you why I did it. So can y'all guess? It's actually going to be the Great Sword. So size does not necessarily mean weakness. Because they are small, I was going to give them something very weak instead. But then I started actually studying the character. You can see, and I was even mentioning it, they are wearing armor. How often do you see a slime character wearing armor? You don't. You know why? Because armor's fucking heavy. And if this slime is wearing armor that is heavy, chances are they can wield something heavier. So this one is actually a fun one. So this guy's name's Drego Drago. So this character right here, it took me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I had to come up with like why I gave them the weapon they did. I first decided to look at the weapons firsthand. So the weapons of choice, given the fact that they are so bulky, it would not make any sense to give them any of the light-handed weapons. So dual blade, sword and shield, bow, light bow gun, and I believe longsword were all cut out just immediately. That leaves, like great sword, hammer, hunting horn, lance, gun lance, heavy bow gun, charge blade, switch axe, and yeah. So that was pretty much it. Those were the only options I had for this character. Now, I was thinking, big bulky guy, very very muscular, very angry. Like maybe they would wield a great sword. That would make sense. But then I was thinking about it. What if this character used his body the same way that hippos use their bodies? And that hippos are not fat, by the way. Hippos are actually very muscular with a thin layer of fat. You can look that up. I'm not even joking. Like, they are fucking muscular. What if this character did something very similar to that, in that they use that big bulk of theirs as a defensive mechanism? So then it got me thinking, if I wasn't going to give them great sword, and I wasn't going to give them hammer, what would be another fun option or a reasonable option for them? And while while they probably are going to hate me for this decision, um, I think they are actually a lance user because lance users, and I used to be a lance user myself, um, they do very well defensively, and they have very strong offensive capabilities. And a good lance user can always get the monster's aggression towards it, and it'll never back down. Similar to that of an alpha monster, such as any of the kaijus. Kaijus being like Godzilla and stuff, where it portrays alpha-like structures where it'll always stay in place and never backs away, never takes a step back in fear. I feel like he would do the same exact thing. He would take every hit like a Chad and then dish out that same amount of damage. He would counter, he would defend, like he'd have it all right there. And because he's so bulky, he wouldn't be able to move around as freely like any other Lance users. So this person's name is Dark Rocker. And this is going to be the first improv I do because this is given to me extremely last minute. So this person, they seem pretty cool. They seem pretty chill, right? They're not too bulky, so we don't have to worry about giving them anything specific. So I'm thinking we're gonna avoid heavy weapons for them. They have a cut on their eye. That's actually pretty interesting, and they have heterochromia. That's interesting. So maybe she got this cut on her eye from training with something. Huh. There are a few weapons here that I can definitely see that if you are kinda not smart, you're gonna hurt yourself. We can definitely take the blunts off. We can definitely take the lances off. Those are way too hard to get a simple stab. So actually, you know what? I'm going to do this. Yeah. I think that they were training to be a hunter, so they accidentally cut themselves because they didn't understand how their weapon worked. And that weapon was boop, the dual blades. This next one is a person named Drocks, who's all mysterious and very, their design, while being very simple, also adds a hint of mystery to them. So mysterious characters tend to not go for the flashier weapons. So by default, I was able to get rid of all the flashy weapons: longsword, hunting horn, gun lance, bow, light bow gun, and heavy bow gun, which charge blade as well, and switch axe. Those pretty flashy, pretty pretty easy to get rid of in my opinion. So what would be an interesting weapon for someone of their nature? Well, if we go back to their character, I can definitely see them as an assassin type character. And assassins tend to be one of the harder classes to classify in Monster Hunter, considering there's not a lot of stealth options in this game. There is sneak features, which are generally meant for hunting, not hunting reasons, but for gathering reasons. So having that being made for a hunter, though, that really drives it off. So, what's a way to distract your opponent with a weapon and your opponent still not know you are there? That one was a tricky one, but I figured it out pretty easily after a minute. So for Drocks, they are going to be Insect Glaive. You can use your insect to distract monsters, as well as being able to hide it. And a good Insect Glaive user knows that they can use their insect to fight rather than you. So, given that sense of mystery, you still want to hide yourself, but still want to be able to attack. I recommend that you become a Insect Glaive user. Next up is my video editor and a good friend of mine. Their name is the ET Hunter. This character, sheer appearance alone, you can tell is a very flashy, very bright character. So, going straight off the differences between our last character and this character, you can definitely tell that one is flashier than the other. Here's where the trouble arose. So, given the character's nature, just by looking at them, you can tell that they don't look physically strong, but then they have that off-tone skin colors, which, since we are still basing this around Monster Hunter, humans do not have a pinkish skin tone. So for me, I had to think of what kind of weapon would this character use. Immediately, again, skinnier nature, scrawnier features. heavy weapons probably didn't make any sense. Uh, but there is a certain weapon here that could show a sense of flash and pizzazz, and I think it'd be pretty fun for them. So for the ET, I was thinking a very fun, flashy styled weapon that they could use is also going to be light bowgun. Also, given the fact that I know you're an alien, I didn't base it off of the fact that I knew you're an alien, but I knew that you weren't human. I was like, you could definitely have a very explosive personality. It also shows simply because you know how your character was portrayed in this one photo, the cocky attitude, the smiles, and then this nice little getup means that you are prepared to take that shrapnel shot. So easy enough, light bowgun for you. Next is our Counterintuitive Blissey. Sorry, Fat Jesus, who is legally distinct from any Pokemon character. Look at them. They have one arm that is bigger than the other. They got floppy ears. They got the droopy eyes. They got apparently this is hair. I always thought that this was just messed up wings, but apparently these are bangs. I didn't know that this was hair. And then they got the beautiful, beautiful feet to match. I didn't know a lot about this character. I just I just kind of assumed that wasn't hair. So, how are we going to classify this character? Lore-wise, just I had nothing. I'm not gonna lie. It was not very hard to come up with this character. Um, that that one was just something I just couldn't do for some reason. The best I could have done was that he was just a deformed demon that, decided hunting was his passion. I originally was going to give them the sword and shield because one tiny arm for the shield, one long arm for the sword. And I thought that would have been the funniest thing in the world. It actually made me fucking laugh. To make it even better, and this one came out of sheer love and appreciation for my favorite Pokemon, Blissey. I thought we would do one of the best aggressive routes we could go. We were going to make FJ Hunting Horn a hunting horn user. They provide a very fun sense of strong supportive skills, as well as the fact that, given the fact that just look, those legs are easily able to reach up to any monster's head. It does not matter. Next up is a very interesting character here because they have no arms. His name is Fexref. How? How am I going to do this, you ask? Well, they still have a mouth. And that's all I can work with. As long as you have a mouth, that is the bare minimum I ask of your character for me to play with or play around with. Okay, so how are we going to do this, you ask? We had to take every heavy weapon off and every flashy weapon with a hand, which only left us with one weapon we could use. You are another light bow user because all you need is... So this is going to be a light bow gun user. Why? Why is this a light bow gun user, ask? Isn't there like weapon and stuff? Yeah, trust me. I got a little questioned about this one too. So why is this a light bowgun user and not literally a heavy bowgun user, a bow user, or anything else on this list? Well, the animation style for how a bow is drawn and withdrawn indicates that it is a slide on. So it is constantly wrapped on your character. How the ammo works can easily be put onto the characters like near their mouths so they can pick up a bullet and mop and then pop right into their little bow guns and then have their bowgun fire simply by wiggling their mouth. Um, another example as to why it could be the light bowgun is you can modify bowguns in Monster Hunter. Like in Try, you were able to modify the nozzles and the back pieces. Um, In for you, you're able to add like suppression to it, and not for you. In world, you were able to add modifications to it to make it like easier for your character to hold, to slide, reload, stuff like that. So I don't see it's not in the realm of possibilities. I mean, I see it as a realm of possibility that maybe they were able to figure something out for this character. To give it the light bowgun status that it deserved. Next on our list is going to be Husky, boop, which is bored. So this is Husky, a good friend of mine as well. Absolutely love them. Very very beautiful bird. Absolute charmer. I love them uh, dearly. They are a good friend. They've been going through a lot, so I always wish them luck. Anyways, off their personal stuff because I'm not gonna tell you what's they're doing. I'm just like they just been going through a lot, so uh, I'm gonna go easy on you. But here's how we're gonna play it, right? So this is a bird. So this is a harpy. You can tell because they have wings for arms, and they got wing hair. Uh, you can't really tell from this photo, but I already know what their character is. I've seen their character plenty of times. They got like feet, and then you got the tails here, like all like an actual like a bird. So that being said, I had to put into consideration that they are in fact as strong as they have bird bones. Default is usually going to be we get rid of all the heavy weapons because of that exact reason. Which now we have to go with what's a fun thing that we can do with them. I thought because they are a bird, what are birds good at in terms of attacks? They have to be both speedy and they have to be able to attack their opponents. Now, here's a weird kicker. I actually had to look up a couple of birds because I know what birds' basic attacks are, but did you guys know that there's actually more ways that birds attack than you actually think? A falcon will literally crunch its fist up into a ball and punch something to knock it out because it dive balls at like 100 miles an hour or something, and it literally will just punch the shit out of something on the ground. And yeah, they actually falcon punch. I think that's where the name comes from. So I had to look this up. And even though I love owls, like I'm an owl person, I did not know that the horned owl has one of the strongest grips at 300 psi. If you don't know how strong 300 psi is, that is enough to crush a human hand with their feet. Also, yeah, I did a lot of fucking research for this. Also, I didn't know this, but the reason why a bird's feet is shaped the way it is that it is meant to lock onto something, grip it as tight as physically possible, and not be able to let go for hours. Meaning that the way that their legs are designed is meant to grip something and not let go. Out of all of this, saying all of this, you would think I was going to give them hammer or something, strong grips and everything. But outside of that, I think a better weapon for them is going to be dual blades. And that is simply because dual blades just have like you have a lot of speed because you can fly and you have the grips, so you're not going to be letting go of your weapons anytime soon. And since you're already used to using your feet as weapons, having two separate uh, attacks that you can use for this is definitely more viable for you. So where do I think you stand? I think you stand at a dual blade user. All right, so this next one is an actual pretty cute character. I don't know if I have their full body here. I do. Okay, cool. Their name is well, their Twitter name was ironic god tier. So this is already funny. Looking at their design, it was kind of they were kind of all over the place. Um, Aesthetically, not exactly sure what I'm looking at. Um, I'm not here to drag or judge your characters, but just looking at them, I couldn't really tell what they were going for. Um, they have their neck stitched on here, so I imagine that they're a type of like immortal character, maybe a zombie. I don't know. Um, they could just be very strong or very weak. It's very hard to see what they got going for me because they were so sporadic. It's very hard for me to judge them on a fun weapon or just a weapon in general that I think that they'd be good with. So I had to improvise a lot. So given their current apparel, I actually had to look up Monster Hunter armor and see what's a fun type of armor and what kind of armors would fit very similar to this. And the ones that kept popping up that kind of it's not so much in similarities, but in terms of aesthetics or similar aesthetics and similar pleasantries in terms of like what the character themselves probably would be doing was in fact bows. And that doesn't necessarily have to be a light bow gun. I actually think, personally, I think they're a heavy bow gun user, simply because of the fact that they have a guard on one of their arms. It was a very interesting detail that they put that one of their arms was covered and the other was not. So yeah, I think she would have been a heavy bowgun user for the sole fact that she has a guard on her hand, and heavy bowgun is the only one of the three bow type weapons that actually gives you defense. Jim, the egg loving person. I like Jim. Jim is a fun person. They are. I know them personally. They're actually just a very lovely person. Jim is a very soft character and a very soft one. Deserves, you know, to just really start thinking about it. Like, what is it? Well, realm of possibilities on what the character actually is. I don't even know. I don't even think Jim knows what their character is. But I had to think of what a very soft weapon for them would be. Honestly, I'm surprised. It took me a minute. It took me a little bit to figure it out. But I would give Jim Insect Glaive. Next character is this one whose name I cannot fucking say correctly. Hold on. Uh, Juiced All Star. Yeah, that's what it was. Juiced All Star. So this character, it wasn't very hard to see what they were. So what are we gonna do with this weeb, you ask? Well, easy enough. Where do all weebs go? Am I right? Am I right? Longsword. Fuck. I guess the longsword doesn't want him. Longsword user, baby. What up? Next up, Karito Kerito. Again, a bit of a weeb, but they are showing magical capabilities, which, if you guys already know, Monster Hunter and magic don't mix at all. There's no magic in this game. So we had to eliminate the idea that they had magical properties. However, the idea of how magical properties works is still relevant. Our character has a very bursty style looking anime anime magical property. So what can we do for that, you ask? Well, that's actually pretty simple. For this character, by the simple glances, I was able to determine that it by process of elimination is actually a charge blade user. Next up is my mod, Wesker, or as he calls himself here, Kiriko. Oh, come on, you made this a little too easy. You didn't really need much of a lore. You had pretty much what everyone expected you to be. Do I need to give you a lore? Do you want the lore, or do you just want me to give it to you? Just based off your appearance alone, where do you think you were going to be? Because I can tell you now, I know exactly where you're going. Switch axe. You would be super wrong, actually. No. So your character, because of how the character's design is, you would actually be a bow user. All right, next. So just off the design, got gotta say, beautiful. I do love the aesthetics. I love this. I love the bell. I love. I believe this is called a kimono. I'm not too sure. Uh, my Japanese kind of sucks. They do have a lot of same facey, which not same face, symmetry in their face, which makes it very nice to the eyes to look at. A lot of symmetry is very important. Good distinctions and differences is definitely alongst the hairs. That's always good to have. Good symmetry on the ears. Just a very aesthetically pleasing character to look at. That being said, however, placing you with a weapon was pretty difficult, but I actually kind of had a fun idea with this one. Um, and the reason why I'm going to give you this weapon is simply because I feel like your character has a bit of a perfectionism. And the only perfectionism that can't be resolved is that one piece in your hair that does not suffer or that does not have any form of symmetry, along with that patch on your shoulder. But I think that's more or less just a comfort design. And it can easily be compensated with your tail going the opposite direction. Probably would have been a better choice to have the tail going from here to here. But you're probably in a still motion and you were probably wagging your tail, so you got to give some little credits, but given that you have that kind of level, I would give you, where is it? Down here. Dual blades. Your dual blades is simply because out of symmetry, and dual blades are perfect symmetrical weapons. All right, next up is KRHYZ. So, when I had spoken to them, I had mentioned this cut when I first saw it, and they told me that it was from their first Monster Hunter fight. Um, and I was like, oh wow, fun fact. That's my in story character's lore too. She actually has a cut on her face from a monster that she had gotten a little overconfident in fighting, and it kind of fucked her up. She has a scar on her face that reminds her that monsters should not be taken lightly. So, of all of his weapons, it was kind of hard to determine what he would use. But I figure after he would have a very similar story where he was very cocky, very egotistical, did not want to, show like weakness and everything. So he had this higher demeanor. And I was thinking, okay, so what's a fun, cocky weapon that he would have used that he then later to humble himself? And I went with the longsword. A lot of cocky samurais tend to humble themselves after a great loss or a great traumatic event. So I was thinking that this character would become a longsword user for that sole reason. Maybe he lost to something like a Barioth, and since Barioths are very fast, very cunning monsters, maybe that's exactly what happened to him. He got into a great battle and he suffered a huge loss. His ego took a hit, and then he picked up the longsword, and then he learned humility. Humility, patience, and how to conquer all foes. Next is a very fun person. Absolutely love them. This little fucking bread thief. This absolute fucking demon. This little fucking goblin of a character. Absolutely love her. She's a fucking charmer. Yes, this is Kuru. She's a streamer. Kuru is she's a variety streamer, much like myself. She's also a fucking bread thief, so if your bread ever goes missing, now you know. This is the person that fucking steals it. That is the face of someone that has snuck into your house, stole your bread, and went straight feral mode and just fucking ran out with your bread in her mouth and just gave absolute no fucking shits about the trash that she just knocked down when doing it. Great person. Now let's talk about her personality. Uh, just her aesthetics alone. So she's definitely on the higher end on the brightness scale. She's a very showboasty, like very high end personality character. Uh, so I was thinking, what's a very fun high end weapon to use? But then I started thinking a little bit more on what this character, like what would actually be the reason for this character to use the weapons. So I started actually looking at what all this is, and yeah, surprisingly they wear armor. I didn't realize this until I started actually looking at their character, but they wear a decent amount of armor. They have like the exposed spots that all VTubers have, but can you blame them? You gotta free the booba, man. Now then, where are we gonna place this character? That was a very tricky one. So I was trying to think, do I go back to the high flashy items like the hunting horn? Instead, I went to looking around other weapons and seeing what's another fun flashy weapon, and it pained me to think about it. So I was like, do I really put her as a longsword? The answer was no. She's not a longsword, and she's not a heavy weapons wielder. So yes, it is definitely Charge Blade. Next up is Kyoyo. Again, demon. Again, strong. But this time they have wing and a tail, you know? So we have a lot of additive features here. And would I couldn't bring myself to do anything but. There's no reason for him not to be a greatsword user. This next one was kind of a late entry. Um lizard watching. I can't make it up. That was their name. I'm going to assume that they are not human, and in fact are, as the name describes, they are a lizard inside a human's body. So we can work off of that instead. But just from her aesthetics alone and apparel alone, I can kind of see her as a technical user. The goggles show that she's probably keeping the wind out of her eyes, which is a good thing if you are a bow user. So I was thinking about bow, but then I'm like, bow gun. So I am not biased on bow guns, I promise. It's just not a lot of people can wield a heavy bow gun. Heavy bow guns are really. So yeah. So for her, I'd give her a light bow gun. I wish I had more time to give her a better synopsis or like lore for her. But the most I can give up is that, lizard with nice goggles. Probably, yeah, probably would be bow. Honestly, kind of wish I had more of the character to work off of. It'd probably be easier to improv that too. But that's the best I can get. I'm sorry. Hope you like it. Next up is this person who drew themselves, I imagine. Very fun idea. Their name was Manila, as I can see. So Manila, uh, seems like your stoic type. I can see, the nonchalant in their face. I can definitely set this character definitely, on the more chill side of life. So for a chill side character, I couldn't really give him much. Maybe he's just one of those people that's like he hunts just because he needs some money every once in a while. But you know those AFK players, right? You know they don't do much. So what they do is they sit and they snipe. My guy, you are a heavy bowgun user, not because you're technical with it, but for the sniper aspect. Our next character is Mach4, which is a machine. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. There aren't machines in Monster Hunter. To which I'm going to say, you are actually wrong. There are machines in Monster Hunter. In fact, machines are the reason why Fatalis exists. Did you guys know that Monster Hunter had actually created a lore that said that not humans, the first Wyverians actually Steamworks? Probably no, no. So the Wyverians were creating super mechanized human robots to kill monsters. How it functioned was that for every 20 monsters, and their bloods and sacrifices would be given up to one of these machines. Now, they never specified how many of them were actually made, but the idea was that they were going to create an entire army to eradicate all the monsters. And that's why Fatalis came and wiped out that original civilization. However, my headcanon for that was that some of the machines survived, and some of these were also prototypes on getting the bigger ones to work. My headcanon is that this is one of those prototypes that they had originally made, and you can even see it in like the old schematics of it. So my guess is that Mark IV is definitely a prototype. Now where he belongs it's very hard to tell, but I can definitely say with certainty that he's definitely not a light weapon user, given his bulkier nature. My guess actually is that it understands movements very well, and one of the weapons that actually peaks in performance by understanding said weapons is in fact a great sword. next up is this cute little bean of a monster, Mariko the squid. But yes, so this cute little squid has to be placed somewhere. Uh, Squids, uh, so just based off the name alone, I was thinking she's definitely more aquatic. What are good weapons that were good in the water? Well, you can thank Monster Hunter Tri for this answer. So my thought process is what is this character, how does it affect them and everything? So my biggest thought was what's a good weapon that this character could use for her home turf? Which I just assumed was, if not in the ocean, then relatively close to it. So they are definitely more waterworks users. I looked a lot, and the only weapon that really makes sense for underwater use was the hammer. All right, next up. Oh, it's Melissa. Oh, I like Melissa. Okay, so they just recently hit affiliate today. I think it was today or yesterday. I think it's yesterday. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is she's a tiefling. This is Melissa the tiefling. But but the tieflings don't exist in Monster Hunter, so she's just another one of those demons. And we've already discussed how demons work in here. So where do we put her? That's an interesting question. So given her nature and her attire, she's very very witchy by nature. So we can automatically rule out a lot of decently heavy weapons. So most of the top category, I probably wouldn't have put her in regardless. Um, I was able to, rule out stuff like the bows, the light bow guns, and heavy bow guns. And I was thinking for her nature specifically, what would be a very good weapon for her would be something that she could not only collect potions and everything with, but also have a little companion. That's right. Melissa is an Insect Glaive user. All right, so with the Melissa out of the way, we can go to our next person of Mallory VTuber. I'm so sorry if I butcher your names. Like, I'm not the best with names. But, so we have a demon Wyverian mix, is how I'd like to describe it. Because I think demons are just with the horns, and Wyverians are the ones with the ears. So, what happens when you mix them both is what you get this character. So, I had to do a little bit of research on what Wyverians tend to favor. Turns out Wyverians have just a variety of weapons that they like to use. But they do tend to go more towards the flashier styles. And given that I already mentioned that a lot of these demons have been pretty flashy to begin with, it was kind of a hard decision. So I think they are a longsword user. All right, so the next one is Mio. Yeah, it's like Mio, um, or Mia. That again, names. We're already in the M's though, so that's good. Anyways, this character being a cute little fox. All right, so she's definitely a flashier character. God damn it. I just thought she was trying to be, all sneaky sneaky like. So for this character, I was thinking, what is a fun place to put them and also, show that they're a little cunning. It's a little hard to describe how to be a cunning fox in the same sense that it is to be, like a boastful wolf or anything. And yes, I'm literally just gonna keep calling this character a fox because I have no idea what they are, and that's my head canon. So if it's not right, then I apologize. So then I had to go, well, what are some things about foxes? Like, did you know that foxes have 30 different cries? And each one of them is more wild than the last. Like, holy fuck! I didn't realize how many laughs a fox can have. Like, holy shit! I had to listen. I listened to it for like 10 minutes. I'm not gonna lie. So I eliminated all heavy weapons because foxes are just generally aren't very good at heavy weapons. That's implying a fox can hold weapons in general. Um, so I was thinking, what's a good thing? Well, foxes don't have the best vision in the world, but they do have other good senses. So, for argument's sake, I kind of took off the bows as well, and then I took off dual blades simply because foxes, unlike wolves, they're not very good at the attack, the rapid attacking. They're kind of like little tricksters. And I feel dual blades are much too aggressive for a fox. I was thinking Insect Glaive at first, but then I was thinking, no, Insect Glaive doesn't necessarily work because I think they would attack their bug more than help it. So I actually gave them the Sword and Shield because, again, Sword and Shield being a very technical weapon can also be a very cunning weapon. I hope you like it, by the way. Next up is going to be Impanda. Outfit design wise, she's very beautiful. She's got a lot of good perks simply because having a normal person in Monster Hunter is kind of weird to me. So having a normal person in this is kind of hard to tell. But I don't base it based off their looks, design, stuff like that. In these regards, much like I did the other one previous, I look to their expression. So what is this character doing? They are giving a sort of like pondering look, I think. Like, I start going, let's see, what's a fun thinky weapon that I think they would be good with. Not gonna lie, this one kind of stumped me for the same reason it would stump like anyone else trying to do these. Uh, I actually ended up going with something kind of fun. I think that they would be a fun longsword user. Next up is I'm getting really bad at these names here. Osamu Hisui. All right, another fox, I think, but they had the little spirit things. So I'm not gonna lie, getting a little, y'all. Some of these characters are a little harder than others. This one wasn't too difficult. You kind of played everything I needed for me. You had the kimono going, so it indicates you're a weeb, you're a fox, which indicates that at least a wolf. I think you're a wolf in this one. It's a little different than the fox, given the color textures and everything. So I'm gonna start calling this one a wolf. So you made this one very easy for me, very respectfully. Thank you for that. So I'm actually gonna put you as a dual blade user. Next one. Next one's pretty interesting because this is a pharaoh, and that's their name's like a Pharaoh Ramses kind of character. For me, this one I had a little bit of fun with because I'm a princess. So yeah, he presents himself very respectfully, very. So my thought process for this was, what is an Egyptian ruler? What would be a fun weapon for an Egyptian ruler to use? You cannot go wrong with this character, and you cannot go wrong with this weapon. I believe he's an Insect Glaive user. All right, well, next up is Pixel Doctor. So Pixel Doctor, which automatically, doctors are kind of hard for me to base off of because doctors don't really want to fight; they want to heal. But that's when the thought hit me. He's a doctor. Doctors like to heal. So, what's a good weapon that's good for healing, good for buffing, overall good support unit? And I was like, well, his whole name is Doctor, so it pretty much is self-explanatory at that point. Pixel Doctor, you go with the healers. Hunting Horn. I just hope his lung game is good, that's for sure. Alright, and now the one that Rada has been wanting to see this entire time. Reaper. Yeah, it's you, Rada. You're Reaper. Oh my god. I'm kidding, guys. It's Rada Revolt. Like I was saying, so this character, well, I already know this character's, lore and everything because Rada has mentioned it to me previous times. I don't know the full lore. I think they're still working on it and they're still, writing it up. So I still have to wait for that. Good friend. That being said, let's get into the character. So this character, just simple designs, makes it to where you can see that they definitely aren't the type of character to lift shit. So definitely need to work on yo gains over there. I wasn't really struggling too hard because I already had an idea, just simply because I recognize this character's design a lot. I recognize the patterns, and I recognize just seeing them often on what I think they would be best for. because they are so scrawny, I did not mention. I did mention that several times. I don't think melee is their best form of action. So I was actually going to make them a tactical bowgun user. All right, next character is going to be Reaper. Uh, so other than the fact that if you verse a fire monster, you're going to get absolutely obliterated. Reaper the Snowman. Just design-wise, it seems like a very friendly snowman. Seems like if they hunted a Rathalos, the Rathalos would absolutely put it to extinction. So I imagine that they stay in Iceborne, uh, in Celianis, in the frozen areas where they hunt the icier monsters. Um, but on the off chance that they need to fight a fire monster, they want the best protection they can get. So, despite the fact that they have a scythe, yes, this is how I'm basing it. I'm basing it solely off the characters, not the weapons. Again, guys, that's how we're doing this. I think their best choice in defense would be the best defense. Oh, where did you go? I think you would be a lance user. All right, this next one. This next one's kind of interesting. Uh, So now that we got Reapers out, we get to do Rocket Time, who's I don't know why their full body just didn't show up here. I guess it's another one I gotta do. Um, yeah, the things didn't save everything the way I wanted them to. All right, so Rocket Time looks like this. Pretty simple, pretty easy. They got a lot of physical aspects to their bodies. Um, I'm sure, our artist renderings change based off the characters, but if we're just going based off the design, you can see they're very bulky. They got a lot of abs, so they're pretty strong. Serious face. Well, Baki characters are wild, so honestly, any weapon would have worked for him. But I think just to keep to the fun, bulky standards, I think he'd be a great sword user. Character is going to be you, Roxy. Yeah. So this is Roxy, last minute entry, so I don't actually have any real things I can do, but if I were to quickly improv them, so yeah, this is Aquarius Knights' character. Her name's Roxy. You can find her on Twitter. It's Roxy VTube, VT. Sorry. Their their design's actually really nice. I greatly appreciate the aesthetics of the character. They have very dragon-esque look, which your girl over here is getting a dragon look too. So I'm already appreciating it. Already appreciating it. You have magical feels. Interesting, interesting. You have horns. So you're probably one of the ones that I have on this other form of my lore, where you become the monsters. So you're definitely reaching to that category. I'm getting a kind of flashy vibe, but not too much to where it becomes too much. Um, Given the apparel that you are wearing, sorry, not the apparel, the attire, wrong word, that you are wearing, I imagine something definitely, you're definitely more on the flashier type. You're definitely going to get, oh, you have a defensive mechanism, and since tails are known to be aggressive as well, you have an offensive mechanism. That changed up my thought process completely, actually. You know where I'm going to put you? You are going to be our first switch axe user. And the reason for that is because the Switch Axe offers both a very strong, aggressive attack and also a very strong defense. So I think that if you had a Switch Axe that had like a fun design like your tail, you could definitely pull off some really fun combos against your opponents with it. So that's my thought process, anyways. And that's only because you mentioned the tail thing. So I think you actually would be one of our actual first Switch Axe user. All right, so with that out of the way, our next up is going to be Satsune. I think I double tapped the A, but it's supposed to be like Satsune. So this can actually go in one of two classes. She was definitely on the later entries, so I don't have too much ideas for her, but I can definitely see her as one of two options. And this comes from a place of love. Like I definitely love the design, and I love the idea behind this, right? So I'm thinking that she's either. So I think that she will be a longsword user. simply because she possesses a lot of flash. Like let's be real. If it wasn't gonna be a longsword, it was gonna be something else that was just as flashy. But I think longsword definitely suits her nature. Sakiyuki. Okay, so fun fact about this person is that they are. Oop, shit. They are in fact my mother. I would not be where I am today without them. So, judging off her little comfy apparel and appeal. So, where are we going to put her? Well, I feel comfy vibes go where comfy goes. But since I know my mother like that, I know she would not appreciate that. So instead we put her in a comfy flashy position of, "Oh my god, can my thing work?" No, she's not a lance. There we go. Okay, we're going to put her as a bow. Oh, yes, Sal. Sal is a very fun person. I absolutely love her. She's such a charm to hang out with. Sal threatens to beat me up, but when you try to beat me up when with your cute little paws that are super tiny, super fluffy, I don't think you're gonna do any damage. However, because you have such big paws, but yeah, Salmony is adorable. Working on it, not yet. Yeah, that's what I thought. You're not a streamer yet, but you are going to be soon. Um, but yeah, but look at this little cute little monster and tell me that they are anything less than what I'm about to give them. But yeah, Sal deserves love. Sal's very fun. I actually started copying a line that Sal says a lot when people are leaving. Uh, so every time someone leaves, Sal goes, "Don't fall in." So I started copying that because it's so cute. I absolutely love her. She's such a charmer. Um, that being said, now we gotta place her in a weapon class. Um, for her and such her big paws, she deserves nothing less than da 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 hammer. You are powerful. All right, so next up is Sammy. All right, so I think that you guys know about Sammy is that Sammy is my roommate. They're also an idiot, but we don't tell them that. They don't watch my streams anyway, so it's fine. Here's the problem. So they are a magic user, and unfortunately, mages don't exist in Monster Hunter. So changing mages from being a magical user to something that represents them as a character is very difficult. And this one did actually take me a while. So, how did I eliminate this? Well, the easiest thing to do is go off their physical features. Sammy, you need to hit the gym or something. You are so scrawny. But I love you. I'm kidding. You're adorable. But given that, it's very easy that we can just eliminate all these basic weapons, such as great swords. They're getting mad at me. I love you. Yeah, so we can get rid of like great sword, heavy bow gun, stuff like that. A good representation of Sammy, I would say, is actually going to be the Insect Glaive. The reason for that is because Sammy, just look at her. I think it in this situation, instead of it being like the charge blade, I don't think they'd be good with the charge blade, which I already said earlier was closest thing to magic. I think instead the insect blade would be better, simply because now they have a friend and they can fly with it. Like I'm pretty sure Sammy would love to fly. The next character that we're going to do is Shark Mama. Uh, Design wise, they are designed to kill. They are going to absolutely fucking annihilate me. Shark Mama's design alone shows that they are definitely combat ready. Like they are ready to kick my ass at any given moment. Even their hair being pointed like that, yeah, she's prepared to kick my ass. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, where are we gonna Place her. My original thought was in fact going to be dual blades. I know a lot of dual blade users here. Yeah. But there are a lot of different types of sharks. I mean, a lot of different types of sharks. Um, so much, in fact, that did you know that there is a shark that uses its tail as a whip to force water pressure uh, as a projectile to hit other fishes and stun them with that Shockwave. And that tail is almost the exact design of the one I'm thinking of. It's just this bottom part is a little bit shorter, but it should still do the same thing if you give it enough pressure, which means instead of giving her the normal roll, she's going to take either a bow, a light bow, or heavy bow. Now, given that there are so many different types of variety of sharks, I was stuck with either light or heavy, but I actually ended up going with heavy simply because they're sharks weigh a lot. First off, I'm not saying that she's fat or anything, but they use that weight to their advantage. They can actually out pressure their opponents. So I'm thinking that if this shark had enough weight and momentum in the water, it could do some serious ranged force with that tail attack. Like I think she would definitely be a heavy bow user, simply because she would be able to strategize her momentums against her opponents. Pretty Silverheart is their name. They are very adorable looking, very pretty, very handsome, whatever you want to call it. That's what they are. I love the suit, love the class, and we've been over this. The classier the character, the more we already know what they're gonna be. And in his case, because he has the wings to boot and a suit, mind you, like he came in fully dressed to just I love the drip here too, by the way. I love flashy, like, just beautifully like designed characters like this. It was only the one choice. There, like, you came in fully dressed, like double cheeked up on a Monday morning, like you're a longsword user. There's nothing around that. You are in fact a longsword user. This one this one threw me off, but for the same exact reasons. But yeah, so this band doesn't have a face, so I couldn't go off facial expressions, so I went off straight up attire. This character has no facial expressions, but I can definitely tell their their expressive type. They are very chaotic. However, they are covered in drip. And we've already established how drip works here. And this character actually is really nice in the design. Like I like it. I wish to have seen more of this character to give it a more to have a better idea. Unfortunately, I can't work with the bare minimum as to oh, I don't know why my I need a new mouse now. Like, Jesus, my mouse is 10 years old, doesn't like me. But you have nice drip, my friend. I hope you understand you belong with the longsword group for being that dripped out. Okay, so this next one, they already said you could tell what weapon they were looking at. And I was like, really? You really think I wasn't gonna know what weapon this was? Yeah, the bro said he only played one type of weapon uh, for a very long time. And my thought is, okay, so what could that weapon possibly be? It's a front. What he actually means is not what you think it is. It is not hunting horn. It is not the other weapons. I can tell you this with certainty. It is a front. So, while he wants us to believe, nope, not charge blade. While he wants us to believe that his weapon is the longsword, I can tell you with certainty it actually is not the longsword. Why? Because I know he's a switch axe user. Because that's the kind of outfit you would wear when you are trying to be subtly flashy. You can tell he has quite the fun attire here. Let me see what I mean. Look at those facial expressions. That no lance user ever had, not lance, no sword long sword user ever made these looks. So now that we established that he is in fact a switch axe user, we can go on to the next one. Next one is actually another fun friend of mine. If y'all do not know who so who Violet is, now Samir is a very fun character because they are a tactical genius. And I think we all know where a commander belongs, right? But for those of you who do not see the full design or have not seen the full design, this is her full design. She is a very beautiful, beautiful character. A lot of good, ups and downs. Yeah, a lot of good the belts. She's got a lot of nice belts everywhere. Um, Very fun character. Look at that hand. That's a good hand. Um, and she's got good shoulders. Good shoulders. Uh, oh, look at that. They have heterochromia. Wow, I would never have guessed. Overall, good design character. You can definitely tell that they are military type. Um, this is a very overtly feminine version of it, but their character does also actually gives that appeal a lot, like they are a shooter type. And I didn't feel good by putting them in any other category other than a gun. I tried. I actually genuinely thought about what their characters would look like in other weapons, and I don't see them being anything less than a heavy bowgun user. All right, so next up is TD. Their character design shows a lot. They have a lot going on in their character. Also, TD, good friend of mine. Respect and enjoy your company. You are very wild and creative. Okay, so TD has a lot in their characters things. You see a lot of black and whites. So it's a lot of good mixes here. You got the horns, so that's a devil thing. But then you got the ears, indicating that they are probably like a demon wolf mix in this, and then the halo, so demon wolf angel mix. Uh, got a lot going on for this character. But then we see this right here. This made it a little easier to see what kind of weapons they would hold. So I appreciate that one. So that made my life a little easier. So we automatically ruled out every ranged weapon and all the lances and all the blunt weapons. So from there, we were left with stuff like the great sword, the long sword, uh, dual blades, sword and shield, and that was it. Those were the only options that they had left, simply because the character's design had the weapon on hand, and that kind of weapon is pretty easy to, eliminate the processes. So what I'm thinking is that they're not a great sword user. That one I can say with kind of certainty that they're not a great sword user. Just something about it gives it away. I didn't see anything else going for it, but how I would change or not change how I would see what kind of weapon this would be. I think I think personally TD would be a sword and shield user because while they have a great offense, it's hard to tell, but I'm sure that they would make a good defensive have good defensive capabilities as well given their hyper mix. So they probably have a lot of hyper senses, easy to defend yourself with, easy to go with. Um, so yeah, there's that. So I hope TD, you like your role at being a sword and shield mix user. Next up is Kit B, Tiny Kit B, Tiny Kit B, Wesker. This character I was going to have a lot of shits and giggles with, um, because I know this person and I love them so much. They are a gem of my life and they help keep me up when I'm down. They're someone I can talk to personally and I appreciate them. But their character is something I get to have fun with. I originally was going to have a little shits and giggles and give them the Insect Glaive, simply because they are a cat. And the funniest thing is that cats chasing bugs, ha ha ha, lol, XD. Uh, and then I was like, it also kind of makes sense because Kit B, they're a bee, so they could have like a bee type Insect Glaive. But then I was thinking about it more, and I was like, combatively that probably wouldn't help because cats tend to go after smaller prey, such as that of bugs, if they really want to, because I know that from experience. So I was thinking, well, they're probably going to eat their insect glaive, buddy. So probably best to avoid that one. So then my next thought process is okay. So what weapon would be good for a tiny kit bee? And then I was thinking, well, technically cats are apex predators, and they attack with their claws. So a fun place to put them in would be dual blades because they can multi attack with claws and they're pretty proficient at it. So Kit B stands at a staggering dual blade user. All right, so this next one's a two-parter because they wanted their male and females. It's Tony. Their name's Tony MMO Gaming. That's their Twitch. So let's start with their male character, and then we'll do their female character. So their male character, um, pretty basic, pretty simple design. Doesn't have too much. Not too good, not too bad. So it makes my life a little bit easier. Trying to find a place for them. Uh, Personally, I think a character of their stature, since they don't seem too strong, they probably wouldn't hold something like a bow and none of the heavier weapons. Bows do take a little bit of a drawback. Um, do I think that this character needed any defenses? Not really. So I was thinking, what's a fun offensive thing that they could do? And I was thinking, plain simple. You can easily, be a good light bowgun user. Let's check on your female counterpart. Oh, her poor back. Well, she's definitely gonna need something to defend herself against that when she falls on her. When she falls down, being a little top heavy definitely hurts. Speaking from experience. So, what are we going to do with her? This was more of a last minute entry. Um, I couldn't really get much lore for the last minute entry players, so I'm just going with based off designs. You look like you could really use some defense in your life. I'm gonna put you on Lance, just so you can uh, help to prevent yourself from getting hurt. And you can use the Lance's shield because it's so long as an arc support for your back. Trust me, you're gonna need it, sweetie. I believe in you. Please, please stay strong. Your poor back. I'm so sorry. All right, and next up is the Utter Near, which I originally was having a little issue thinking if I should put him here because this is a Valve and all that. But I looked into it. The little customization does go a long way. As well as they do use this character for their VTubes. Or YouTube videos as well. So I'm sure it's fine overall, especially if you don't take this too seriously, Val. But please don't hurt me. That being said, where are we going to put this fine gentleman? Let's see. We are going to put this character in a higher, in a fun class. Where would I put Utternear? That's actually a very interesting question. So based off its designs, they're definitely a craftsman of sorts. We definitely see the protection. Oh, we see an arm. Oh, we see an arm guard. All right, so for Utternears, I'm thinking we are actually going to put this man as a heavy bowgun user. Next up, this is Valencia. So they are a very interesting character. Design wise, oh my God, hetero fucking chromia. I swear to God, I need. Thank you for that, Pats. I need someone to just point out how many times heterochromia is mentioned or seen in this damn VOD at this point. I swear to God, half of y'all had heterochromia at this point. Very cute character, very charming personality. Design wise, they have a very nice, simple design. Uh, one, two. They definitely use the three color or the base color schematics, which is like they don't use anything more than four colors as their main draws to it. The sub colors don't take away from the main colors, which is really nice. So it makes the character just that much more aesthetically pleasing to look at. So what are we gonna do with this character? Unlike the other one, there's not a lot outgoing, but I can definitely see, they have the fox ears and stuff. They have the nice, the ears and the tail, so that implies some slight trickery. And we have seen similar aspects like this earlier, but instead of the other one, which had been an Insect Glaive user, I was thinking something a little bit more devilish. So I'm thinking for their format, they can also be dual blade users. Oh, she's chinchilla ears. Oh, that's cute. Oh, she's a chinchilla. Oh, that's even cuter. Okay, so yeah, dual blades makes more sense now. Next is going to be Vulp. Vulp is a cute. Oh, well, this is definitely yeah, furry. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Furries are fine. What am I gonna do with this character though? So they're just straight up a wolf, and we've already described how wolves act. You can't be too flashy. Can't be too much. Um, they definitely got the claws to match their personalities and the bites to boot. So we are going to right there on the dual blades. All right, this character. This character's name is Wilberforce. Wilberforce. This character, full model. This could just be because um, the artist is not the best at muscle toning right now. That's something that can easily be worked on with the art piece. But I am definitely sensing like a Duke Ferdinand or like a nice version of Guts. Well, Guts is a nice character, but I mean like design wise, like a brighter version of Guts. But you definitely can tell that they are supposed to be much more macho, much more muscular. So what I'm thinking is that they are definitely like the brave fighter type character. And for that, I'd give him the great sword. All right, next is XZA. This character for what you are doing, you definitely have a lot flashier momentum than some of our other contestants. You're definitely bright, so you're much more on that flashier spectrum than our last few ones, anyways. So, character design. It's hard to tell on a background with black hair, but it looks like you have long hair. All right. You were definitely closer to one of the last minute entries, so I don't think I had anything too much. So we're just gonna go off your look. You definitely have the scrawnier look, but you are flashy. So scrawny, flashy with long hair. Oh, you are easy. XDA, 100%. You guys love this. You love to see this, right? So my thought process was going to put you on longsword, but you do have a fun demeanor. Now that I think about it, you had a nice demeanor about yourself. Okay, so what we are actually going to do for you, right, is we are actually going to put you as a switch axe user because I think you'd be a fun switch axe user. All right, so next up is Yuto Kurosawa. Yuto Kurosawa, design-wise, I like it. Simple, flashy, simple, like it's flashy, but not too flashy. You know what I'm saying? It's got the demon horns. Oh, though it's a little cracked, so that means it's definitely they definitely got into a fight. It's got a skull head with demons, so they definitely got into a real bad tough with someone. If I had to guess where this character would go, I can definitely see that they are much bulkier than other characters. So for this character, I actually, you know what? Yeah, they can definitely beat it. I can see it. They are 100% going to be a great sword user. All right, next up, Zerwith the First, implying that there was a second, third, and fourth. But you know what? Zerwith the First. Look at this. Look at this goober bunny. Look at this silly knock bunny. Look at them. They're such a cute little charmer. Aw, look at that. They even got the little earring piece going on. Aw, and the little stars. Zareth is a good friend of mine as well. They hang around Kitby a lot too, so easy to find Zareth. Zareth is definitely a precious being. Um, if you ever want, they have a not Twitter. They have a Twitch too. Go follow them on Twitch. They stream Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I think Saturdays. I forget the weekend one, but it's Tuesdays and Thursdays that are their main ones. I would watch them more, but they stream the same time I do, so fuck them. Also, you're a bunny wearing bunny slippers. That is the most like fucked up thing you could do about your character. But other than that, chef's kiss. That's like if a person wore person slippers. It's fucked up. You fucked up. So, where are we going to put this maniacal maniac, you ask? Where all maniacal maniacs go. Abso-fucking-loot-Disgustville. We are talking. No, I'm kidding. Not Disgustville. We are talking about what do bunnies have in common? They fucking they suck at everything they do. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Zarif. But we are definitely going to put them at insect glaives. Why? Because they are prey, much like their insect glaives. And when you put prey and prey together, it becomes one big predator. And we're talking real predators. We are talking danger to society. A real threat, if you would. But nothing to worry about because it's Seraph. The fucked up one that wears bunny slippers. That's where you go, buddy. All right. So last on this list on my drive before I go to the add-ons, the first one is Zero Gami. Zero Gami. Again, you know, nice flashy design. I love the suit, and they have nice glasses. I know they're winking, so we can't see if they have heterochromia or not. I'm gonna imagine not because they have a very yellow theme going on here. So they're very electric. I like that. And you know what? Even though they are flashy, even though they are that, the fact that they have so much yellow and so much electricity, I cannot feel anything else but Charge Blade. Whew! Alright, so we got 3 more left. Up first, Hakko. So Hakko is right where the fuck? Here. Design-wise, very beautifully designed, very beautiful character. We can actually expand this up just a little bit more here. All right. So what can we say about this character other than the fact that he is absolutely gorgeous? I'm talking hunka badonka. I'm talking like I would smooch the ever living shit out of this thing's face if he ever got near me. I'm saying like, they should not have put me 500 feet away from him because I'm gonna run at him at full speed in full kiss mode. You gotta love him. Also, you know, tentacles, it doesn't help. I have a thing. I have a personality. I have a type, okay? And Hakko just fits every bar. All right. Horny aside, Hakko kind of answered this for me, but I already know what to do. But we're just gonna go over the aesthetics first. So beautifully designed. I absolutely love the fact that they aren't actually symmetrical. Um, very basic parts are like the cuffs, the arms would be symmetrical, but everything else, like the design wise, is asymmetrical. Oh, I guess the tentacles are symmetrical, but everything else is so different and it's like so unique. It's so popping, but they follow a very good rule. They follow a rule of very little amount of different colors. Like if you backed up, you can see the base colors: blue, red, and gray. And then obviously, you know, they have the whites and the golds, but I think the gold would be very close to the browns. It just highlighted differently. The reds are there as like back tones, so that always is, you know, it's nice. How long has that been behind me? So just aesthetically pleasing, like this character is easy to follow. But yeah, so Hakko's weapon of choice. And I'm so happy that this is the answer because he not only gave it away in his arm in his piece, but it's so fitting that Hakko would be a hammer main. I can totally see it. All right, next up is Serene. Serene is a very fun person. I have known her since my RP days. Um, and I feel kind of bad that I kind of just went in and out of that group. My social anxieties kept going off, and I'm so sorry. I couldn't keep staying in that group. They seem so nice too. I just feel really bad that I left them. But but yeah, it's you, Serene. Look at you. Look at this pretty baby. Okay, so Serene has, as you can tell, they got the little furry aspects of their life going for them. They got the cute little ears, which you know what? Just for you, just for you. I will turn on my cute little ears. Hold on. There we go. All right. So now that we both have cute little ears, now we are little besties. Okay. So let's see what we can do here. So you don't have heterochromia, thank God. I was gonna get so upset. Yeah, just from, simple face shot, simple cuteness. I already know what your full body looks like. Um, you are much more feline than you think. Um, so what are we gonna give you, you ask? Oh, well, that's actually pretty simple. Feline is what feline does. Feline makes a cutie out of you. Hello there, cute little dual blade mane. Perfect, don't you think? They're simply perfect. And last but not least is Zavage. Well, actually, no. Last is going to be Battlemate Ash. I didn't put her in. But last but not least of this, before I put Ash in, is going to be Zavage. Nope, not last one. I have one more after this. Um, as you can tell, pan furry. That's the photo they gave me. So that's what we're working with. Um, furry. They got the fox out. They got the fox going or wolf. I can't tell with all of them. They're all the same. This one I could easily put as a dual blade and just be lazy with it. But to be honest, I'm actually seeing something a little bit more because they have that spunky personality going. So for them, instead of dual blades, I actually feel like they would be, in fact, where is it? Where did I put it? I can see them actually as where is a switch axe? Here it is. Okay, a switch axe user. This is our cute little battlemate Ash. Look at her in all of her adorableness. I absolutely love her. I love our conversations together. Tell they are battle. They are battle ready. They are maid ready, and they are Ashzilla. They are definitely, a lizard type. Lizard mix. In other words, I would give them 100 kisses and 100 kisses more on top of that. So, what do you think a good maid is good with? And the fact that you are Ashzilla means that you are definitely a good heavy hitter. In fact, you are so good at heavy hitting that you are, in fact, a hammer main. Yay! Ash, you are definitely a hammer user. You cannot deny it from me. So this is how I would place y'all. Uh, you can't prove me wrong otherwise. So fight me. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate y'all. But yeah, love y'all.